Joining me, Mike Pence. He said, what about Trump? Let's talk about it.
Or where they went, they caught 78 known terrorists within the beginning of this year alone.
And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Please do me a favor, hit the share button, hit the thumbs up, share this out everywhere. You know the routine. Okay, we need to get right into it because we're going to run out of time. I have so much to talk to you about. I mean,
China
is in the news.
China
is in the news.
China.
Right? I mean, it's really, what is going on? It's almost like they're trying to take us into World War III. All right, but before we get to that, let's talk about Mike Pence. We'll come right out talking about him. Now, a lot of people was hoping that Mike Pence would have used his constitutional rights, back, when he could have, but he didn't. He did just the opposite. And so many people are asking the question, why wouldn't he? Well, if you ask me, Mike Pence, he's butthurt over President Trump. Something probably happened. He probably said something to him. President Trump probably said something to Mike Pence. Mike Pence didn't like it. He's probably still butthurt about it, right? He really is. And now Mike Pence is running. That is correct, right, Shannon? Mike Pence did put his name into the hat for the presidency of the 2024. That's correct, right? So how does that work? I mean, has there ever been a VP running against the president like that before? I mean, has that ever happened before?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm wondering because so many things that are happening that's never happened before, like them indicting President Trump, them arresting President Trump in Miami, Florida. There's so many things, so much history is being made right now. So maybe someone who's watching right now, you can send me a message. You can tell me, yes, President Trump, he did it. Put that on the screen. Someone, go ahead, bring it over before it go away. Flip it over. Look at that. Someone put that in the comments. This is on Facebook, right? Someone put this in the comments. And you know what? If this was in the actual picture, I would still vote for him. How about that? I don't know if a troll actually put this out there or what. I don't know. But I would still vote for him. And a lot of these idiots on the left, they don't realize that if they arrest President Trump and they convict him, he can still become president. He can become president. And then after that, he can just pardon himself. Which brings me to Mike Pence. Mike Pence was asked a question by Chuck Snot Todd about if he was president, if he were president, would he pardon President Trump? And what do you think Mike Pence said? Right? It's a valid question. What do you think Mike Pence said? Well, look at this. Look at this when Mike Pence is on here with Chuck Todd and he asked him that very question. Listen to this.
You've been asked a few times whether you would pardon the former president if he's convicted, and if you were the president, would you?
Yeah, would you? It's yes or no. Just yes or no. Yes or no. What do you think he's going to say, everybody? What do you think he's going to say?
Well, I just think the question is premature.
What? The question is premature? What is that? What is that? The question is premature. He's literally stabbing President Trump in the back again, stabbing him in the back. And of course, everyone knows that Chuck the Snot Todd is a total communist leftist liberal. We all know that he is. And Mike Pence is happy to go on there with him and say, well, you know what? It's premature to ask me that question. It's premature because guess what? Mike Pence, if y'all had the choice right now in the primary between Mike Pence and President Trump, who would you vote for? Who would you vote for? Please leave me a comment. Who would you vote for? If it was Mike Pence or President Trump, who would you vote for right now? Because Mike Pence just said, it's too premature. Is he saying it's too premature because he's not president? And I don't want to be like speaking ahead because I'm not president? Or do you think he's saying that it's too premature because, President Trump could still be found innocent?
No, come on.
Which one do you think it is, Shannon?
I think that he's saying it's too premature because he may be guilty. That's what I think he's saying. But
that's exactly what he's saying.
It is a premature question on Britt's part because, let's be honest, Pence is not going to be president, period. It's not even a question in my mind that would be an opportunity he will even have.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it will be either because I was kind of curious how the debate stage will look with Mike Pence on the same debate stage with President Trump. What is that going to look like? So he's going to be, and all presidents just said, you're just a disgruntled employee. Right? Think about it.
I honestly think they'll be friendly with each other.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, because even after all the stuff Pence has said.
I mean, come on. After he just sit there, really? Look what he just said on Chuck Todd. And I said, you know what? My response, if I was Mike Pence, if, I would say, what they're doing to President Trump right now should be more of a concern to you about if I'm going to pardon him or not. That's what you need to be addressing. Do you want to be a banana republic? When did we lose sight of what America's supposed to be? See, this is what I would be saying to him. See, this is the reason why they don't let me on there, because I would say stuff like that and they don't want the American people to hear. And because people go, you know what? That's a very good question. Why are you asking about this when they're taking us down the path of a communist nation? Please help me understand that. Help me understand. Well, President Trump, he goes on Fox News, and you know how Fox News got rid of Tucker, and Tucker has been a real Trump supporter. It's like they were trying to weed out all the hardcore Trump supporters, and trying to weed them out. Because even at one point, Tucker Carlson wasn't a hardcore Trump supporter, just to be honest with you. But it's like people see what's happening and people start recognizing the truth, right? It's just like you have your rhino, never Trumpers. Some of those during the 2016 election, those never Trumpers, when they realize, okay, yeah, Trump is the best man for the job at this time, they all kind of like went with him, except for you still have a few, right? You still have a few that remain rhinos, Mitt Romney, Liz Cheney, Adam Kissinger, the whole lot of them. Well, President Trump goes on Fox News, and this is after apparently Tucker, right? After they removed Tucker from the platform, President Trump goes on there, and Bret Baier is asking President Trump some various questions. And this first one, he asked him about Putin,
Russia.
What would you do about Russia, with the Ukraine? And President Trump has already made it clear that he would stop the war. He would end the war. He knows how to communicate with these people. He knows how to communicate with them. But listen to this.
Look, I talked to him. I said, if you do it, there's going to be hell to pay. It's going to be a catastrophe. Don't do it. He said, no, you won't do that. I told him I was going to do something. He said, no, you will not do that. I said, I will, Vladimir, I will do it. I'm going to do it. And you know what? He didn't believe me. Whatever. It was pretty bad. And he didn't believe me at all, except for maybe 10%. And 10% is all you needed.
And during the time President Trump was in office, what did Putin do? Did Putin invade Ukraine? No, not at all. Not at all. But listen to this next one. I wanted to wait until we got some people on here. If you haven't already, please hit the share button. This next one is so good. This is so good. Now, I don't know about you, but since they've removed Tucker, I have since really watched Fox News at all. I mean, I get clips like this every now and then, or I still kind of like Jesse Waters, okay, and Judge Janine. But listen to this, because Bret Baier tries to bring up this point saying more independents watch Fox News, and watch President Trump's response. This is golden. Hit the share button.
Continuation.
More independent voters watch Fox News than any other TV source.
A lot less than used to watch it.
Did y'all hear that? Oh, my goodness. See, now, you remember President Trump went on the Communist News Network, and then after that, they actually fired the CEO from letting President Trump come on there. And it was like a town hall, supposed to be like a town hall setting. It was just a debate between the host, which you see here, and President Trump. Same thing. So instead of them doing a town hall, let's just do it here and we'll debate you. You have Fox News, MSDNC, CNN, all of them wanting President Trump to go away. Even Fox News, they're only bringing him on here because you and I, we're still supporting him. Listen to it one more time. Listen to it one more time.
Independent voters watch Fox News than any other TV source.
A lot less than used to watch it.
They do watch. Those voters usually make up.
Listen to that. And he's in there arguing with President Trump. You know what? President Trump is correct. People are not watching Fox News like they used to because what they've done, they turned their back on the American people. And then have y'all seen what Matt Walsh released about Fox News? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's so repulsive. I can't even show it to you here. It's that bad what Fox News is doing on the inside. And the whole thing about, the whole, what month is this? They're pushing that in Fox News. And you have a lot of people on Fox News that call themselves Christians that speak, and they on every now and then, it's very, they do it every now and then, not all the time, but every now and then they'll speak out against this whole craziness that they're doing to kids on Fox News, but they're pushing it company wide. What? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. All right, let me show you this. The southern border. I've been down to the southern border multiple times. And the Democrats try to act like the southern border is secure. And then they even try to say that, well, the southern border didn't get the number of people that they thought they were going to get. Are you kidding me? It was millions upon millions, and they're still coming. It's just the media refused to report on it. See, out of sight, out of mind. As long as you don't see the trafficking of people and children and drugs, guns coming across the border, it's not happening. You know how they say, if there's no video, that it never happened. That's what they're doing here. The media is still not talking about it. There's still thousands of people crossing the southern border, but they want people to believe that the border's under control. It's secure. Don't pay attention to it. Don't believe your lying eyes. And also, when they bring this up, split screen for me. You have here on the Communist News Network, you have Jake the Snake. He's going to ask her a question, this congresswoman a question. Don't you think they should shut down the border? And she's going to say, well, Congress need to come up with comprehensive border reform. And you know what that means? All they want to do is make it possible to fast track these people into the country and make them American citizens. So then that way they can vote. That's their agenda. They don't ever talk about the sex trafficking of children. They don't ever talk about the fentanyl that's killing countless Americans. They don't ever talk about the criminals, the terrorists coming across the border. They're trying to figure out how they can fast track them so they can vote for them.
Do you think President Biden needs to do more to stop migrants from crossing the southern border?
Actually, what I think is that Congress needs to pass comprehensive immigration reform.
I mean, listen to this. Listen to this.
I know that we were expecting a tidal wave of folks coming in, and that did not happen.
See, she just lied. A tidal wave of people did come in, and a tidal wave of people still coming in. It's just the cameras are not showing it. This is how they lie. These people constantly lie, and they expect, and of course, people on Communist News Network, because they don't see it, they're not showing it to them, so it must be true, 1984 style.
So I think what the Biden administration has been doing is important.
Oh, it's important. It's important because this is the takedown of the United States of America. This was important to them. Not keeping America on track, not wanting America to thrive, not America to be successful, not America to be great again. Their agenda is to tear the country down. What do you got, Shannon?
What should have been his follow-up question is Congress just had control of the House, or, the Democrats had control of Congress and the Senate.
They had Congress. They had both Congress, House, and the Senate. They had control of the complete Congress.
Why didn't they pass the legislation that they're all talking about now? If it was so important to do that, why didn't they do it? That should have been the follow-up question.
That's a really good question. Why didn't they do it? Why do you think they didn't do it?
Because what was happening is what they wanted to happen.
Yeah. And it's only because of going into election season that they want to talk about it.
The Democrats' problem. They want it to be a Republican problem. So guess what? let's blame it on Congress because
they didn't
the Republicans
do it.
have
They
control.
didn't do it when they had control. So now they want the crisis to build up, and now they're blaming them.
Yep.
It's unbelievable that these people they look at themselves and they hold themselves up like they know what's best for all of us. Y'all know what I'm talking about? They believe that they know what's best. They believe they know what's best for you, right? That's why they want to dictate everything, every aspect of your life, because they know what's best for you. Who else do y'all know is like that, right? Who else do y'all know? These people have a different agenda for America. They have a different vision for America and what it should look like and what it should be like. It shouldn't be for the free, the home of the brave. There shouldn't be any of that. It should be this other stuff that they're pushing. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me talk a little bit about the economy, right? How many of y'all are happy with the gas prices? Are you happy with the gas prices? They're down just a little bit, but they're still high. They're still high from when President Trump was in office, and all this could be preventable. Let me ask you this. When you go to the grocery store, are you still happy with your receipt when you walk out the door? Did you get everything that you wanted to get? Remember how it was when President Trump was in office and the economy was booming? You can go to the store, your 401k looked lovely. What is it like now? Are you happy with it now? You have the Biden regime, this Biden White House, literally lying to the American people. And they come out and they say, look, everything is fine. The households are a lot better. No one's complaining. Everything is great. But even here on the Communist News Network, they're even acknowledging that people are not buying the crap that's coming out of the Biden regime.
I think what the Biden administration is challenged by, in addition to what Phil just laid out, is that what people are feeling at home is different than the message they're portraying. And they understand that there's a conflict there.
Oh, they understand there's a conflict there, people. Do they understand that there's a conflict? Do they? If they understood that there was a conflict there, then why in the world would the White House, Karine Jean-Pierre, constantly go behind that podium and lie? If they know that there's a conflict in them lying to the American people. And see, the only reason why the lie is not working, because you and I, the American people, we're experiencing opposite of what they're telling us to believe.
They do have a record. They do have accomplishments, but they also know that people at home still think gas is too high.
They think, you hear that? They think gas is too high. This is 1984, right here, playing out in your right in front of your eyes. 1984. Listen to her. See, they think that gas is still too high. I mean, really? What do you mean we think? I can look at it and see that the gas is still too high and it's unnecessary. Listen to her.
People at home still think gas is too high. It might be lower than what it was a year ago, but they still say there's pain at the pump. The same thing at the grocery store with prices, with the price of goods, their rent going up, all these things that people say they don't think they're in a great financial position.
Yeah. I mean, really, everything. So I know somebody right now. I was actually talking to a family member and it's in a different state, and they were complaining because their rent went up. And this particular family member lives off the government. I can't stand it. Now, and it's really bizarre because this person has a degree. I mean, I'm trying not to get too much information. But this person is living off the government and they're complaining because the rent went up. It doesn't make a lick of sense. Complaining. But then they turn around and support the same people that did this. Same people. And they want us, and people are seeing that the rent going up, the food is still up, the gas price is still up. And if they take us into World War III, everything I just listed is going to go up or disappear.
That people say they don't think they're in a great financial position. So it's hard for them to receive a message from the president saying, hey, you guys are doing better. Look what I've done. It's just, I think there's a disconnect there that, quite frankly, there's no easy answer for how the White House deals with that disconnect, because they kind of don't really have a way to fix it.
You don't say. Maybe stop lying, right? Maybe, let's start there. I mean, am I missing something? Start there. Stop lying to the American people. They're literally lying to us 1984, and they're constantly regurgitating the same lie over and over and over and over and over again. The problem is people have read the book. People read the book, and then we get to say it out loud. 1984. They're literally lying, saying, "Hey, everybody, it's better, it's better, it's better. Everything is better, it's better." And of course, you know, on the Communist News Network, and I'm surprised MSDNC was even playing this, even allowing her to talk. Commercial break. Because she literally just said that the White House has been lying to the American people, and the American people aren't buying it because there's a disconnect, and they don't understand why. They can't figure it out. Listen to Donald's. Listen to this, because he actually talked about how with the way they did with the economy and how they did with black people. Now think about this. Today's Juneteenth, right? Should we even talk about the was it 21? Was it 21 people shot? Juneteenth celebration. It's supposed to be a celebration, and you know they still shooting each other. But anyways. Listen to this, because they don't ever seem to make the connection. And if there's anybody on here that loved Obama, think Obama was the greatest, tell me what you think after listening to this.
With respect to President Obama, he had 60 votes in the Senate, and what did they do? They did Obamacare, and they did the worst financial regulation in our country's history, Dodd-Frank, which has actually eviscerated community banks and is hurting and stopping small businesses, minority-owned businesses from being able to access capital right now in our country. They started that under his presidency. I think if you look at where Republicans stand, not to speak for Tim Scott, he'll speak for himself, but we want to give parents all opportunities to find the best academic outcome for their child, the best place to do that. We want to have a free-flowing capital system so you can start a small fledgling business and find different avenues to get capital into that system. We want safe streets and safe communities by following the rule of law. And what we also want is a justice system that is a respecter of all persons and it follows the law even-handedly across the board, that doesn't pick and choose. That is the conservative value system. That's the Republican value system.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But we don't have that anymore because it's not equal justice under the law when it comes to the left and how they want to apply the law. Am I wrong? I mean, is there anybody on here want to tell me that I'm wrong? Prove it to me, right? Because I can prove it to you how it's not equal. Every single time a Democrat does something, what happens to him? Right? Joe Biden, Obama, right? Well, not even Joe Biden. Obama did the exact same thing. Bill Clinton did the exact same thing. They took documents. No indictments came for them. Why is that? They want people to believe that President Trump was trying to share these documents, and there's no proof of that. This is them doing hearsay. And of course, because there's no equal justice under the law, the left, they will take hearsay as factual information. Well, he said that she said that they said Trump was guilty, so he must be guilty. No tangible proof or nothing that he was trying to share these documents with
Russia, Russia, Russia.
I mean, it's the same talking point. So because they regurgitated that 1984 lie so many times, they believe it themselves. Like they don't even comprehend what is reality any longer. These are the same people that tell you a man can have a kid, get pregnant. Same people. But we're supposed to believe on everything else. Listen to this one, because this one is, to me personally, highly disturbing. This is highly disturbing what they're doing, what this lady says. And this lady is a congresswoman. Now, I don't think this was even a slip up, what she's about to say about President Trump. And MSDNC, I don't even think they even corrected her. She tried to flip it and change it real quick. But this is the congresswoman. Listen to what she says. She wants to what she wants to happen to President Trump. You can't make it up.
Having Trump not only have had the codes, but now having the classified information for Americans and being able to put that out and share it.
You see what I'm saying? Where's the evidence that President Trump was sharing classified information? Where's the evidence of that? Where was it at? Where is it at? Is it sitting on a server somewhere? Did President Trump use BitBleach to remove that information? Was it sitting on a BlackBerry? Did President Trump take a hammer to it and destroy it? Did he go in back with a barrel and throw the documents in it and burn it? Did he do it by a pigeon? Did he put the documents on a pigeon and had the pigeon fly to Russia? Which is it? Where did it happen? Now, listen to what she says here at the end of this, because this is, if you ask me, this is how all of these Democrats feel about President Trump and what they want to do to him.
In his resort with anyone and everyone who comes through should be terrifying to all Americans, and he needs to be stopped.
What did you hear? What did you hear? I'm just curious. What did you hear? One more time. What did you hear? What did you hear? I'm not going to say anything. What did you hear? Because a lot of people go, what did she just say?
Should be terrifying to all Americans, and he needs to be stopped.
I mean, is she speaking her mind? Did she realize what she just said and be like, wait a minute, I didn't mean to say that here. I got too comfortable saying what I really feel. Which is it? If it was the other way around, do you think that the DOJ, the FBI would pay that Congresswoman a visit? Let's just say that Obama was in office and she happened to be white and she was on a conservative outlet, can't say Fox News, but she was on a conservative outlet and she said the same thing. Do you think that the CIA, the FBI, the DOJ, the DOD even will pay her a visit? Somebody would. Don't you think? But in this case, oh, it's perfectly fine because she's talking about President Trump.
I mean, we're talking about an ex-president.
Yes.
Somebody that has more Secret Service clearance than she does.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Somebody that has more access to the truth, to be honest, than she does.
Yep.
100%. Their hate, it's just TDS.
Yeah, and so and
that's
people,
all it is.
Rodney Jones says, I heard shot. You know what, Rodney? You are 100% correct. You're 100% correct. Let's put the comments on the screen if we can, because a lot of people heard it. You heard it correctly. You did hear it. That's exactly what she said. Then she said, stopped. Now, you know good and well that's what she wants, right? And that's what they want. And I've said it multiple times already. It's kind of like, why haven't they?
Well, I mean, it seems like it's normal dialogue for her, probably with her, her associates. So, she gets on TV and she thinks, oh, I'm talking to a liberal. I can say this. But then she all of a sudden has to censor herself really quick.
Yeah.
But still, it got out there for sure.
Yeah, it got out there. And I just shared it with everybody. Yeah,
so you can hear it for yourself.
Yep. You know what?
Make your own decision.
Make your own. And that's why I said, what did you hear? What did you hear? But that's what I heard. And she quickly changed it. But you know what? Then, I mean, own up to it. They hate him that much. They'll send people, or they'll encourage people. Let me put it that way. They'll encourage people to go to a Supreme Court justice's home and kill them. Why wouldn't they want to do this to President Trump? I mean, come on, people. Come on. And you notice they were even fighting them about having security for the Supreme Court justices, because if some nut job, some leftist whack job out there ends up taking out a Supreme Court justice, the left all they go, oh, you know what? His career or her career was XYZ, but now we get to pick somebody else. That's all it'll be. So since they can't just pick somebody right now, they, if we can't stack them, get rid of them. Okay, let's go to
China.
Right? Let's go to China. Oh, excuse me. Okay. China. Blinken decides to go to China because China was not taking the phone call. So it's like this. I guess in this case, the United States of America is, how do I say this in a polite way, Shannon? Okay, it's like this. A bad girlfriend. We got a bad relationship here. You have China on one hand, and then you have the United States of America. But the United States of America is constantly calling China. Pick up the phone. Ring, 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 ring. No one is picking up the phone. No one's picking up the phone. So it's not a good relationship. So the person that's keep calling, so they hop in their car and they drive across town. How come you're not answering your phone? How can you not answering your phone? I've been calling you. Yeah, you're calling me. You're crazy. Look what y'all doing. We're crazy over here, but y'all really crazy. So he flies over to China. And I guess that since he's over there, he's in the airspace now. They're coming in. They have to kind of like prance him around and talk to him. Well, Blinken's over there. And let me ask this question too. All the other times in the past when they talked about Taiwan, did they say that that the United States of America does not recognize Taiwan as a sovereign nation, as an independent nation? Or did they say that we do? We recognize their sovereignty. We recognize their independence. Didn't they constantly say that? We recognize that? How many times? I can't, it's like countless times that I remember them saying it. Even, China is saying that Taiwan is part of China. But the United States of America said, we support their independence. Well, listen to Blinken now. After his visit with
China,
all of a sudden he's saying this.
On Taiwan, I reiterated the longstanding U.S. One China policy. That policy has not changed. It's guided by the Taiwan Relations Act, the 3 joint communiques, the 6 assurances. We do not support Taiwan independence. You
hear this? Right there. Right there. They don't support Taiwan's independence. So when did that change? Because I'm telling you, they were constantly saying it. Am I wrong? Put it in the comments. Will, you're wrong. They never supported their independence. They've been clear about that from day one, about 2 years ago. Where you been, Will? Put it in the comments. Let me know.
We do not support Taiwan independence. We remain opposed to any unilateral changes to the status quo by either side. We continue to expect the peaceful resolution of cross-strait differences.
I mean, it's like a whole bunch of hot air. In one sentence, he's saying we don't recognize their independence. So China, go ahead on in. Go ahead on in. Put the comments on the screen there. Go ahead on in. We don't care. We don't even recognize their independence. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe I was just dreaming it, that they were constantly saying that they recognize Taiwan's independence. Remember, Nancy Pelosi got on the airplane, went over there saying that we recognize their independence and we're going to fly into the country. There's nothing you can do about it.
China.
Remember? Y'all remember that? Because everyone was monitoring the plane. They was monitoring her plane because they were wondering if China was going to shoot it down. Everybody was monitoring it. You remember that? I do. I'm like, so now we don't recognize their independence? Am I wrong? Where they were saying it, right? I'm not just dreaming, right? Right? I'm not dreaming. Well, look at this one. Listen to this report about when he was over there kissing up. I mean, that's all it was. He was kissing up. He got a stench in his nostrils right now.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang held what they called candid and constructive talks Sunday in Beijing, though they seemed to agree on little beyond keeping the conversation going. After a 5.5-hour meeting followed by a dinner, the State Department said Blinken stressed the need to reduce the risk of misperception and miscalculation, which was what he listed as his top objective for the meeting on Friday in Washington.
To establish open and empowered communications so that our two countries responsibly manage our relationship, including by discussing challenges, by addressing misperceptions, and avoiding miscalculations.
Yeah, so he had to hop on the airplane to go talk to them directly because they were not taking their phone calls. Their counterparts were not taking their phone calls. None of them. It was like total communication. And everybody was like, what's going on? That's the reason why he had to go over there. How come China didn't fly over here? How come they didn't fly over here? Right? If China's having a problem and saying, hey, what's going on? Why didn't they fly over here? But no, just the opposite.
Chinese state media quoted Qin as having pointed out that the Taiwan issue is the core of China's core interests, the most important issue in Sino-U.S. relations, and the most prominent risk. Ties between the countries have deteriorated across the board, raising concern they might one day clash militarily over the self-governed island of Taiwan, which China claims as its own. The trip was the first visit to China by a U.S. Secretary of State in 5 years. Blinken postponed a February trip after a suspected Chinese spy balloon flew over U.S. airspace. He is the highest-ranking U.S.
Right there. Right there. You remember the balloon? So did he bring up the question about the balloon? Did he bring up the question about the
Kung flu?
Did he bring up the question about the fentanyl coming into the United States of America? Did he bring up the question about all of that? Did he? I don't think he did. He's just like, look, whatever you want, we'll give it to you. Just answer our phone calls, whatever it is you want, because we know that you own China, Joe. You control Beijing, Biden. Whatever it is you want, we'll give it to you. And that's what's happening. And it still looks like we're going to end up going in World War III. I don't want that to happen, but it really looks that way. And I want y'all to look. This is a response after what Blinken, he's over there. I call him Stinking Blinken. He's over in China. And Biden was asked about the balloon. Like, all of a sudden, you got a reporter finally asking the question of Joe Biden about the balloon. And after all of this time, he finally responds about the balloon. What do you think Joe Biden says about the balloon? What do you think he says? Listen to this. And while you're at it, please hit the share button.
I think one of the things that balloon caused was not so much that it got shot down, but I don't think the leadership knew where it was and knew what was.
You hear this? He's saying, I don't think that
China
knew where the balloon was. I don't think they knew where it was or what happened to it or what it was doing. This dude is playing willfully ignorant. He sounds like he's doing the CCCP talking points. Just tell the Americans this is probably the memo he got from CCP. Just tell the stupid Americans this right here, stupid Joe Biden, and they'll believe it. At least the people who follow you, stupid, will believe it. Really? So the United States of America monitored that balloon as soon as it left from
China.
And they monitored it when it went into Alaska. And they were monitoring when it went into Canada. Then they were monitoring when it went back into the United States of America. Then they were monitoring it when it was crossing over military bases, missile silos from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast. The United States of America was monitoring this spy balloon. But Joe Biden have the nerve to come out here and lie to the American people as if we're going to believe him saying that China didn't know anything about the balloon. They didn't know where the balloon was. Did he talk to China? They've been refusing to take his phone call. So where did he get that information from? Where did he get it from? Should we just take it for face value? Oh, it's just a balloon gathering all the data on the United States of America while we're in the potential verge of going into World War III?
Got shot down, but I don't think the leadership knew where it was and knew what was in it and knew what was going on. I think it was more embarrassing than it was intentional.
It was more embarrassing that it was intentional? Or you can't make this stuff up. You can't. It's like comical.
And so I'm hoping that over the next several months, I'll be meeting with Xi again and talking about legitimate differences we have, but also how those areas we can get along.
And how in the areas we can get along. Beijing, Biden. See, this is the reason why no one trusts the Biden regime. No one trusts the government. Blatantly lying to all of us. How is it that the United States of America is monitoring this balloon from China to Alaska, to Canada, to the West Coast of America, to the East Coast, but China doesn't know what a balloon is? If China didn't know what a balloon was, as soon as it came in our airspace, it shouldn't have been an issue shooting it down then. Why let it come into the country? This is because they're controlled and owned by the CCP people. Controlled and owned. Controlled and owned. Prove me wrong. I just showed you everything that proves that very thing. That's the reason why I'm saying it. Prove me wrong. Okay, we are at that point right now. We're getting ready to flip it over. Flip it. We're getting ready to flip it over to Rumble because I have some stuff I want to share with you that I cannot show to you here on Facebook and YouTube.
So we'll give a shout out to Mandatory Carey. He did a super chat.
Thank you so much.
And then on Facebook, we have Cassie, George, Michelle, David, Andrea, Lori, Dinah, Rodney, Ann, and Cindy.
Thank you so much for the blessings. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody, you see it right there on the screen. Join us over on Rumble. Let's go ahead and let's do it. Let's go do it. All right, we're going to end it here on Facebook. God bless you, everybody. Don't forget tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central. I plan on going to the event also, for those of you who care, in D.C., Faith and Freedom. President Trump is going to be there, I'm told. It's going to be pretty awesome. Support me, uniteamericafirst.com/donation. Okay, let's go to Rumble. Y'all ready to rumble? I know y'all ready to rumble. Let's take it to Rumble.